spent months building this beautiful curriculum and we sold one.
Yeah.
$397.
Slap in the face.
We literally had no money in the bank. Do you feel like a failure?
We could not get paid at all. We just got to make it work.
How to turn your expertise into a six-figure online course.
Nah. Scam, fraud, alert, alert, alert.
All those years of what felt like wasted time and start implementing it into other businesses.
Just work. Work for no money.
And that to me was the most valuable skill that has got us to where we are today.
Like you could be the next Alex Hormozi, but you give up after reel 10.
So in 2021, I retired from high performance sport. And I guess the reason was my retirement was number one, COVID hit. So it was quite a nice and safe way to retire. But also it was a fact that I wasn't quite getting a benefit from swimming as much anymore. So for me, was with family, with friends, and decided within myself that I'm going to hang up the goggles, hang up the togs. And it wasn't long after that, I had a bit of a break for a while, and I started to find a personal interest in the stock market and day trading. And I guess the problem with day trading, and I do owe a lot of credit to my uncle for this, but he taught me a really valuable skill that you really don't get taught at school and stuff like that. But to me, it was the ability to be able to find a problem and solve it. Critical thinking, problem solving. And he had an obsession for his own stuff with the stock markets and day trading. And I was actually truly inspired by his skill. He also got me into a business course thing that was able to teach me like more skills on critical thinking. But he was very big on finding a problem and what is the solution to actually get there. And that is probably one of the greatest traits that I've ever been taught in my whole life. And it was in that time that I met you. My beautiful wife, now business partner, now best friend, wife, and we do everything together. And when we met, you can tell a bit about your story, but when we met, why don't you catch your life up to kind of where we're at?
Yeah, I think like at this point, I had come out of very high performance corporate. So, school, uni, straight into Deloitte, top Big Four. And
also did all the main subjects at school, hardest subjects at school,
plus
maths,
extracurriculums, physics, Chinese, like you name it. I would say coming out of that kind of analytical background where you're taught as an auditor, in my case, as a chartered accountant, you're taught to question everything, get into the detail, find the holes in the system, find the KPIs that are driving performance, that can drive behavior, that can then drive outcomes from a financial statement and revenue perspective, because you're always looking for fraud. You're always looking for, the skeleton in the closet. And I think that comes back to critical thinking, that comes back to really unpacking businesses. And it was so amazing to get so much exposure to, we're not talking small business, we are talking about multinationals, global entities that are dominating still today the markets, that drive and determine the markets that you were day trading. So I guess coming out of that background, I guess I would say I never was able to execute, or I think the thing that drove me was throughout the whole time of my auditing career was I was doing marketing for Deloitte, and I was in the non-for-profit space, and I was doing all the campaigns and, Movember, and we're talking like Brisbane office kind of thing, because I had such a desire for marketing, such a desire for design, for
being creative,
advertising. Yeah. And I saw the investment that Deloitte, the powerhouse that they put into the brand. Everything is intentional. You have to think about how these corporates have survived, how they're perceived, how they've grown their brand. And it's not, XYZ partner, it's Deloitte as a brand. It's you can't get away from that. But that is a legacy that's been built and invested in. That's an asset base, a digital asset that they have curated really, really well over time. And it really opened up my eyes. It was never a no. The more advertising, the better. The more clients we could bring into the office, the more dinners we could have. Like the investment in the reputation, in the experience was phenomenal. And it really opened my eyes subconsciously at the time to the power of marketing and how it can't be neglected. When we met, I guess, I was very corporate minded. I was going to be the partner, that kind of thing, climbing the ranks. And what I discovered after, 4 or 5 years in the particular role was that it is quite empty, to be honest. It is very much pushing and shoving your way up the corporate ladder and that kind of thing. And that wasn't that appealing anymore because my priorities changed. I met you. You really challenged my thinking about, what is the purpose in life and what do you want out of life and how do you define success? And I think where we kind of came together was, high performance corporate, high performance sport. And we really put our heads together to say, all right, what does this look like for us as a team? As people that have ambition, that have drive, that want excellence, what does that look like in terms of success for our family, success from a business perspective, but also from a future perspective? Like we want to leave a legacy. And that's what we started all back 5-6 years ago now. And it's just evolved and snowballed. And the realizations, the revelations are so insane that we can't even go into a coffee shop and without looking at the operations, the processes, the revenue, the metrics we're constantly analyzing.
So when we met, we were like, what is Dan going to do with his life? I'm a qualified accountant. I have a career. I've been to uni, but for me, it was different. My whole life for 22 years was dedicated to sport. Now, that is a beautiful thing for most workplaces. Super driven, super motivated.
Loyal.
Pardon?
Loyal.
Very loyal. Willing to exploit myself to get to the next level. So, I had that high performance mindset, but I also didn't. Swimming you can't do forever.
You didn't get exposed to other options, really.
Didn't get exposed to other options. And I'll need to share a bit about that too. But for me, we started off doing public speaking, and I'm sure you can remember it, but we started what a brand is, and it's still mixed in some of our stuff, but we started a brand called Worldwide Speaking. And I remember you, Kat, you had a absolute vision and dream. We're going to be a global host speakers all over the globe, get into schools and be able to give all this curriculum and all that kind of stuff. And I think for me, I didn't believe it. You were definitely a really strong point in having some vision at that point in time. And we went out there and remember we did the launch. We paid for video editors and we got the videos and the branding and everything done. We got shirts made, merch, hired a venue. I think we got blessed with a venue. They helped us out at the time.
Yes, appreciate that.
And we got everyone that our contact list, we messaged everyone. I think I had like 600-700 contacts in my phone. You messaged all your friends, and I think
family.
40 people came, and most were our mum and dad, brother and sister, couple of good friends.
Yes.
And we pitched our vision of what we wanted to do and got some backing behind us, and it was it was a really beautiful thing. And I guess when you're starting out, you don't really appreciate those times at the moment. You feel like a failure. You feel like a disappointment. Yes, it was exciting, but it's like it's not paying the bills.
Yes.
It's not paying the bills.
Yes.
It's not putting money on the table. And that's like the hard part of starting and getting going and getting your business out of that rut. Because that is always the hard part of it. So yeah, we launched a brand called Worldwide Speaking, which was like a school curriculum program, which would get into schools and pitch to schools.
The intention was to give back a lot, your experience, your realizations in high performance sport, because there is an approach that you weren't privy to as a 5-year-old. So we really having had so many beautiful families come into our life, swimmers and that kind of thing, we realized there is a better way to achieve the epitome of sport, getting to the Olympics. And it's not the current traditional way. So that school curriculum had a lot of lessons and a lot of good that we we could see and wanted to implement and that kind of thing. And we had the privilege of working with so many amazing schools like Brisbane Boys College and Clayford College and like a lot of beautiful Brisbane and Gold Coast schools, Toowoomba schools and that kind of thing. But it was really getting to a point where we have been hyper aware of day one of scalability, of feasibility, viability. So as an accountant and your background as well being extremely process driven, you do this, you get this outcome kind of thing. The numbers don't add up because the work and the reputation and the trust and the loyalty almost disrupting a school curriculum environment that gets.
Just let me jump in there.
Yeah.
Do you not remember the school that had the same speaker coming to the school for 18 years? That's what we were fighting
18
against in
years.
speaking in schools.
Yes.
18 years.
This is a concrete relationship that you can have that hammer and chipping away. You can be better. You can do better. You can give to the children. But yes, the legacy and obviously the good work that they've obviously been doing for 18 years, there's no more room in the school curriculum because the timetables are so shrinked and so condensed.
Yeah, and that was like a really powerful thing through that time because we learnt the valuable skill of the willingness to always change your offer
Yes.
and your pitch.
Market feedback.
Yeah, market feedback. Every single meeting we had with the school, every no we got, we went back and reflected to the best of our ability at the time and made changes to pricing, structure, strategy. We'd pick up on their clues. We'd always be listening to what are they looking for as a school. And every single pitch was better or worse. And remember, I think we changed that because we remember we're printing off our pitch deck. We probably changed it 25 to 30 times of printouts, and it started to get very expensive at Officeworks. You remember? We were trying to work out cheaper ways
We
to
definitely
print.
had an account.
So when we launched Worldwide Speaking, we went and pitched to many schools. We got a lot of leads through like friends, cold emailing, all that kind of stuff that we're learning. And at the time, I wasn't working and you were working. So you were still at Deloitte.
Yeah.
Working, and you were on a bit of a career break and not through that time. And to be honest with you, like we just bought our first home. We literally had no money in the bank, like barely any money in the bank.
Got gifted a dog.
Had a lot going on, trying to get a business off the ground. And it was this one day that I actually got hit with a Facebook ad. And this is when Facebook ads were getting like more popular and the algorithm was getting more popular. And for those of you that know that you get targeted by ads, the reasoning is because every single behavior and interest that you do is completely tracked. As we know now, every user has around 50,000 data points on their head. And so when you change your interests, it's all tracked behind. So then you can get advertised too. Great news for business owners. So I got approached by a Facebook ad that was like how to turn your expertise into a 6-figure online course. I was like, that's awesome. One-to-many model, super scalable, shoot some content and get it rose. And it's like, here's the 30-day process. You can start, launch, and create your online course in 30 days. Super juicy offer. So what do? I come to you. And I was like, hey, I've got an idea. This is this ad and I'm getting all the email marketing and the results that they're getting and blah, blah, blah. Super good marketing. And I was like, babe, it's $997 US to join the course to start. And I can learn how to turn my expertise, which I thought at the time was mindset around swimming. That's what we thought. And I was like, we can do this. Like, we can give it a go.
And I put the brakes on you hard.
You did.
I was that consumer that was like, nah, scam, fraud, alert. No, not happening. This is a waste of time. What are they possibly going to teach you? Put a camera in the room. Like, I was like the hardest, coldest, most limited consumer you could possibly get. And it was something that I am so grateful we negotiated.
We did negotiate.
We negotiated and we thought, well, we'll give it a go and that kind of thing.
And it was a lot of money to us at the time.
It was.
And it's a lot of money to most people. Like it was about $1,500, I think, in the end to get started. And it was a lot of money at the time.
But what won me over was the marketing. And I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
I was being primed and nurtured over months.
Overpromised.
A little bit,
We have
yeah.
to get into that.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it's the priming and the positioning and the touch points. Hey, this is great. Hey, this is working for other people. Hey, another day, another case study, another. And it is like I couldn't escape the cycle.
Yeah.
Because once that algorithm finds you,
You're screwed.
as a consumer, yes. As a
Mhm.
business owner, they
Even
were
down to
thriving.
fishing lures.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we signed up, and unfortunately, it wasn't a 30-day process.
No,
It was
bit
probably
longer.
around 6 months process, and
minimum.
we learnt things that we were like literally a fish out of water. We both had no idea what we were doing, from course creation to landing pages to creating a
Videography.
curriculum, video editing, videography. You find out how expensive video it is. You find out how much time it actually takes to do well on Instagram. You start working out all of these valuable things that aren't valuable at the time and are great reality checks, from branding to things, to messaging, to writing ads, to setting up ad campaigns, pixels,
Email copy.
email copy, retargeting campaigns. Like, all of these skills were in this course. Super valuable course.
Mm.
A lot of work.
Just work.
Pure work.
Work
And so,
for no money.
but in this time, you quit your job.
Yes.
And do you remember I went and did laboring?
You did.
I did.
We roles reversed. Yeah, like Deloitte wasn't really cutting it for me at that point. Especially we'd moved to the Gold Coast and it just practically wasn't really working anymore. My mindset had changed.
They gave you 2 days off for your wedding.
They did, because I had a CA exam, which
Yeah.
they counted towards my leave. So that was a bit dog. But anyway, yeah, I think there were a few realizations, and then, we had a little bit of an awakening. And these are kind of skills, especially like the video production, editing, creativity. Like I was like, oh,
You enjoyed it.
I like this.
Yeah.
I can sit at like that laptop and learn. Like I do love learning, and so do you, because you and those AirPods when you were laboring.
Yeah, when I was laboring, I'd talk to you all day with my
You
AirPods
not
in,
get
and we
the-
would build all of this stuff out in our heads.
You were not off the phone at all.
No. Sorry, workplace.
Sorry.
But use the job for my advantage.
You were still performing. You
Climbed
got
the ladder
promoted.
quite high up there.
You
Was
did.
performing hard out on
Multitasker.
KPIs. Multitasking. They say men can't multitask, but when they're building something, they need to.
When you have a purpose and a vision and a goal, yeah.
And the beauty of it was we were in agreement.
Mm.
As painful as it was and as unrewarding as it was at the
Yes.
time, because unfortunately in small business, when you're getting started, you're rewarded when you get paid.
Which
That's a
is-
reflection that you're doing
Mm.
better.
Yes.
And that's like, that was the hard part for us. And so
It's true. Just to cut in there, like what I couldn't reconcile for a little bit was coming from a paycheck.
a good paying job,
Security
security.
is huge. Like the fact that I wouldn't be guaranteed an income coming in was like mind blowing for me. Coming out of constantly being told you need security, you need security, you need security. You're not going to get another mortgage. Do you know what I mean? But I had to let go of that and actually realize that, well, I guess we flipped the roles. You still had security and that kind of thing. But it was such a weird experience, to be honest, going from employee to business owner and wearing the weight of that and carrying the load of being like, we could not get paid at all.
Mhm.
And we just got to make it work.
Yeah, and like it was a time where we learned video editing, how to post on Instagram, how to run ad campaigns, how to build landing pages, how to build online curriculums, online courses, how to get people interested in your offer. And we spent months building this beautiful curriculum, and the curriculum was around really how to not burn out in sport. Like if you were to sum it up, that's kind of what it was. We shot 10, like probably hours and hours of online videos and built our course
We did
out.
over 60 videos.
Yeah, we did a lot of videos and pre-built it all.
In depth.
Very in depth. Got other people involved, got like as big as we could, get as much interest as we can, and we sold one.
Yeah.
$397.
Mm.
That's what we made on our first launch.
Slap in the face.
Not forget all the losses on the ad spend and that kind of stuff. And even the people we're working with, because we then upgraded to their mastermind, right, to work with them individually, which was, I think, about 5,000 or 7,000 US
Yes.
to get in, which was a lot of money at that starting point. So to learn more skills, to get more feedback, which is a beautiful trait.
We wanted
To learn
custom
more.
feedback. Yeah.
We wanted feedback. With that, even they were confused because we had such a strong offer. It just didn't make sense. So every week you're on them with online calls, making tweaks and changes and trying to make it work. And over probably a 12-month period, which was super good, by the way, we ended up turning it into like a blueprint. And tweaked the course and changed it, and every week making changes and
Change
every week doing
messaging.
better. And the best we got it to, which is very, very good in marketing and ad spend for online curriculums, was spend $197, make $197, which is break even. And it was pretty cool. Like one day you could bring in, let's say $2,000 in a day, but you spent $2,000 in ads.
Yeah.
That was the hard part with it, right? But it was really cool that people were buying your stuff and interested in what you offer. And that to me was the most valuable skill that has got us to where we are today. And it's how to turn a cold audience, someone who doesn't know you, doesn't like you, doesn't care about you, thinks you cringe,
Like me with the content
like you,
course. Yeah.
and turn them into a customer, a loyal, paying customer that loves you and is about your value. And that is what we didn't value at the time because
Didn't know.
didn't have the maturity level, but we also learnt that valuable skill set. And in that time, I ended up leaving laboring, and then you ended up going back to practice to work for a small business, like a small accounting practice, which was a completely different experience for you.
Yes, tax.
Tax.
It was tax, not audit.
Yeah. And you worked with a boss that had come out of the Big
KPMG,
Four.
yeah.
The Big Four. And she was such a beautiful person to respect burnout, to respect your life, to respect work-life balance, to pay you more. And I think she subconsciously, like reflecting back on it now, she taught us so much about trying to create that workplace that you did feel like you could be creative in, you could be a bit free in, you could control your own day if you had an appointment on. Because I feel like the days of just having someone strictly on a 9 to 5 are like
Over.
they are over. Yeah.
What I appreciate about the most about her is her willingness to try.
Give it a go.
In terms of technology, I have never seen someone so open to processes, automation, adapting, enhancement. Like there was not a minute that it was like, no, we can still do better.
Yeah.
We can be better. And it was like that combination of such nurture with excellence that I loved. I hadn't really been exposed to both sides in a role before. And it was a really
fail-safe environment.
Very.
You could make mistakes and she'd still love you through it and help you. And she was very big on the lifestyle.
Yeah.
How do we create a better lifestyle? Like she could go to yoga and she could do her things. And I'll like forever admire her for opening our eyes to what it's like to work in a workplace. She let you work from home all the time.
I did.
And you could have gone into office, but she was happy to let you, based around your life. If you had an appointment on, she'd let you go, and she would you could work back at night if you wanted to.
And I think what I was exposed to it as well within that practice was the inner workings of business, because she involved me in a lot. So exhibitions, visibility, marketing, advertising, where do we get our next lead from? How do we ensure client retention? I'm going out to see clients and, to enhance the relationship. Like there was a lot that went into it. That was like, wow, I guess you can see yourself as a staff member or you can see the bigger picture, really. And it's up to you. Like if you're, like you said, on the fence, it's like, well, I'm in this position now and what are the learnings? Like what's working, what's not working, and that kind of thing.
So a random day, your boss took you to her premises and I came with you because we
newly married. You can't leave my husband.
We do everything together.
We do. Attached at the hip.
We're very trad.
Trad?
We are traditional. Where families worked always together in their families.
No,
We're
right.
not about industrialism and going to work all the time and being out there. That was always our goal.
We've
is
never had the problem of being like, hey, how was your day? It's like, I literally had the same day
had
as
the
you.
same day.
So
And we get to talk about growth when we're on our dates.
eating
as well.
dinner.
Eating dinner. So for us, Kat's boss actually saw me working on our memberships and our online stuff that we had going at the time. And she's like, oh, I actually have this person running, and our social media account was doing quite well
Yeah.
as well. She's like, I have this person, I'm paying this person X to run my social media account. I was like, what? You're paying them that? And she's like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to give you a go. And that was the beauty of your boss, right? And I guess she felt our drive, she felt our passion. And unfortunately, that was the end of her in a funny way, because you and I then got obsessed with,
Yes.
gee whiz, if you can do this for other people. And we started implementing into her business, and she started blowing the socks off of how she was doing. And she was able to get her expertise out there, her differentiation, her value, bits of who she is, her story, and all that stuff through her social media. And she started
trust and visibility, and the reputation that it built was so enticing. And it was like, I was accounting manager, but also marketing manager. You were being contracted in as well. Like, we were doing the investment into it was so exciting. It was so much more exciting than a tax return. It really was. Like going to
the launch we
expos
did, which was a big launch. She got a big grant to do some stuff for the
financial
community.
literacy.
Yeah. And she hired us to do that, which is our first big paycheck into marketing, which was super helpful at the time. And we did a full curriculum for her online. It's amazing where life takes you, thinking back
to the
on
online courses.
Yeah, back to the online world, helping her build the curriculum, all the landing pages, all the ad campaigns and everything. And she had a KPI goal of getting 100 people signed up in, was it 30 days?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we did it. We did it.
I can't reach you over the microphone.
We were able to apply our expertise, apply all those years of what felt like wasted time, and start implementing it into other businesses. And that started to become our obsession.
Full circle.
Full circle. You unfortunately became less interested in your job, which we ended up becoming to a beautiful agreement with the boss, and she really helped us get going.
Yes.
We ended up becoming full-time marketing contract, and we launched our first marketing agency called Socials for Accountants. Don't give people brain calories in the name. We will be doing more teachings on this eventually in the names and stuff like that. But we literally launched Socials for Accountants, which was ads and lead generation and social media, landing pages and all that kind of stuff for accountants. And we ended up moving from a full-time role. You moved from a full-time into a contracting role, which was where we birthed our digital infrastructure agency, our marketing agency, whatever you'd like to call it, where we do business investment, we help other businesses grow, and we really alleviate that real digital side of business owners so they can scale.
The digital asset that's required these
days. The digital asset that's required.
It's not if or maybe. It's a requirement now.
It is a requirement.
If you want to be anybody.
If you want to be crushing it online.
If you don't want a wage.
Yeah, if you don't want to wage. So that was the kickstart for us. Is she helped us get started. We signed a great retainer contract, which is how most agencies work. And we got started into the social media world. And then you and I just got obsessed with R&D. Every single client that we onboarded that we were able to land, we just got obsessed with making the process better, getting better relationship with our clients, and it was
taking their feedback,
on board, losing clients, winning clients, losing clients, winning clients, doing a bad job, doing a great job. And then we started to really identify what it actually takes to be a successful business owner. Now, we've worked with over, I think it'd be well over 60 plus in the last 3-4 years now. 60
financial
plus
firm owners.
Financial firm accounting practices. And we've seen, which are can be hard people to work with, and people will probably laugh at that when they hear that. But we had a hard yakka on helping accounting practices. They're tight with money. They're can be like really stuck in their numbers sometimes, really great at deliverables, not that great at sales. And so we spent a lot of time educating, helping, and providing that marketing and digital side to accounting practices.
And I'm an accountant, so let's be real. And I come from a long legacy of accountants.
Dad's an accountant.
Sister's an accountant. I'm
Yeah.
an accountant. Yeah, I think it's just more taking someone that is very has a real gifting with numbers and putting them in an environment that they're not used to. So that transition of being front to camera, being vulnerable, like sharing expertise without remuneration necessarily, was a journey of shaping and optimizing our target client, because we came up against quite a lot of resistance because it's the first time really accountants really wanted to be forward facing. Traditionally, we've always been behind the desk. See us once a year, we give you a tax return, hopefully you get a refund. But if we're doing your job right, you won't, because that's money you could have been using throughout the year. But anyway, we won't get into that. But I think it's like, yeah, the resistance and the fact that, hey, they've never been on camera before, so they're not that good. A lot of them, which is totally fine. Like if you're, and that's probably a little point to put in there. If you're comparing yourself to people on Instagram, go into their bio and look at how many times they've posted. 200, 300, 400, 800, 1,000. Look at Alex Hormozi. Like, look at these people that we admire, that we're like, oh,
I want to be them.
I want to be them. That's so easy. Let's just put a video up. Like, if you're doing it for your first time, you're going to suck. We suck.
Terrible.
Don't go down the feed. Do not.
Do it.
Do it.
I might have deleted some of them.
Because it's true. It's like, it's riding a bike, and the bike is a motorcycle. It's a Harley, okay? So it's front facing, and it's, you're dealing with self-worth issues at times, or perception, or fear of failure, and there's a lot going on for that individual. So don't compare yourself. Look at the bio. Get realistic. Look at how many years they've been posting for. Minimum 4 to 5, okay? They've got that on you. In 5 years, that's going to be you. If you're consistent, if you're willing to adapt, if you're willing to take on market feedback, if you're willing to analyze. But a lot of people aren't. Success and the virality that we're sold in social media, in visibility, in branding is a lie that hurts people's performance in the long term. Like, you could be the next Alex Hormozi, but you give up after reel 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a waste.
It is a waste.
But it's those firm owners and those financial firm owners that are consistent, that are not really worried about public perception. Like, they're willing to receive the market feedback, see what topics are trending, what are doing more better than others. But following does not equate to revenue, ever. And we tested that the hardest way, personally.
We did.
With our own pocket, our own wallet.
Their own pocket.